Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace here, dropping in on you for another morning segment of inspiration and encouragement. I hope that you guys have gotten your day off to a good start. Shoot, I'm moving on 4 hours into my day. Got all the kids off to school. Had my morning priming session, which I'll kind of talk to you guys about today. Hey, how's everything going, Levi? Thanks for dropping in. Look, man. What I want to talk to you about today is such an important element of success in any area of your life that it cannot be fully expressed. There's no way that I can touch on the impact and the importance of self-discipline practice on a daily basis in order to receive everything that you desire, in order to achieve everything you're capable of. Self-discipline is so important. I'm going to do the best I can this morning to lay this out for you so that you can see why it's so important. One of the greatest impediments to achieving an exceptional level in life in any given area, whether it's finance, whether it's sports athletics, and physical health, or holistic health, or in your marriage, or as a parent, or business owner. It's self-discipline. It's the lack of self-discipline. It's not being able to commit to doing the things that have to be done on a consistent basis. We are easily distracted, we're easily deterred, we're easily moved about and pushed back. And what that does is that works against us in achieving the things that deep inside we know are possible. See, it takes more than simply knowing something is possible. Yes, you need to believe it's possible. You need to have the confidence inside of you to know it's possible, but there also must be a level of commitment, putting in the work, a level of commitment to learning the things you need to learn, a level of commitment in being everything you need to be at any given moment. We take too much time off. That's something I share with my clients all the time. Look, you can do a great job today, but then if you take tomorrow and the next day off and come back and do another good job on, Monday, then, it sounds good. It's the par for course. Most people work 4 to 5 days a week, and then they take off 2 to 3 days a week and they come back. And yes, you need to have a point where you recover. You need to have a point where you rest. You need to have a point where you take some time to enjoy life. But you need to make sure that every day has the practice of being disciplined in what needs to be done. And so what I do is I incorporate work into every day, even days that I know that I'm going to spend the predominance of that day doing something with my wife or doing something with my family. There's going to be something that requires self-discipline. And normally it's going to occur at the beginning of the day. Why? Because how you start your day is how you carry out your day. If you start your day with focus and discipline, you go through your day with focus and discipline. You set and train and create the state from which you're going to operate throughout the day. And the more days you do this, the more natural it becomes, the more it becomes a natural part of who you are. You have to develop the right type of habitual behavior, and you do that through specifically and intentionally knowing what it is you have to be able to do on a daily basis consistently. And those things you practice. And the way you do that is this. Daily discipline, to me, begins with setting the proper state of what some refer to as priming. And priming means that it's the same thing as if you're priming a wall, or you're priming a vehicle to be painted, or you're priming something to be colored or painted over. It's preparing yourself and creating the proper environment, the proper surface, the proper context in which to build positively. If you don't prime right, you can't paint right. Same thing with your day. If you don't prime yourself in the morning, you're going to have a rough day because you haven't set the proper state, the proper environment, the proper perspective, and the proper focusing through the proper lens. So to me, the first thing I do is, with as little as 10 minutes you can do this, I normally do an hour. And that's just me But you need at least 10 minutes. And I've heard Tony Robbins say, if you don't have 10 minutes, you don't have a life. If you don't have 10 minutes to devote to making your day a better day, you don't really have a life. You got a bunch of stuff going on, and it's not taking you anywhere, and it has you stressed out. It has you overwhelmed. It has you in a place that you just really, really, really are just tired, because it's no way that you should not have 10 minutes to give to making your day better, making your life, and ultimately making your life better. So with me, it's an hour, but let's say you just got 10 minutes. It's about priming. So what do? The first thing you do is you've got to get up and set a foundation of gratitude. I just made a post about my wife, to my wife, but I made it public because I believe in celebrating your mate. I believe in celebrating your mate. I see far too often where the only time people hear about your mate is when you're complaining. I never complain about my mate. Whatever complaints I have about my wife, and there are a few, I discuss them with her. And the same thing with me. The things that she feels that are issues with me, she discusses them with me, and we keep it within that confine. But I believe in celebrating my mate. So I just sit up and I talked about it. And one of the things I talked about is how when I wake up in the morning, she's the first thing I see. And when I see her take her next breath after I awaken, that's the foundation of where I build my gratitude. From that point forward, it's about, okay, she took a breath, meaning she's still with me. That's something to be grateful for. Then her breath reminds me of the 17,000 to 30,000 breaths I took yesterday, which gives me another reason to be grateful. And then I build out on that gratitude. And why is it so important to have gratitude? Well, it's far too many things to talk about in one sitting. But first and foremost, the two most destructive emotions are that disrupt the capacity to produce things at a high level, to do things and be successful at anything, is fear and anger. You're either fearful of what's in front of you, or you are angry about what has happened. And those two emotions, while there are others, that can be associated with disruption, fear and anger are by far the most disruptive and destructive emotions that you hold. Here's the thing: fear nor anger can be present in the presence of gratitude. When you develop a heart of gratitude, there's no fear, because we understand what we have in front of us and what we have in gratitude. There can be no anger in the fear of gratitude. Gratitude creates an understanding and a thankfulness for what I have, and it removes the focus off of what has went wrong. And so it can be anger. I mean, it lifts you up from a place of sadness and despair. Gratitude has so much power to elevate you and give you a new perspective, for which this new perspective opens the gate for you to receive greater things. See, if I'm angry, I close the gate. If I'm fearful, I close the gate. If I'm jealous, I close the gate. If I'm consistently sad, I close the gate. All because I'm not on the right plane, I'm not on the right level, I'm not on the right frequency, I don't have the right vibrations, I am not engaging and interacting with the people who have the ability to reach me and bring to me the things I need. Everything is about interaction with the things that you desire or want, are the things you focus on the most. You don't get what you want, you get what you focus on. So many of you are focusing on what's wrong, and you can't understand why you live perpetually in the situation you live in, because you haven't developed a heart of gratitude that will elevate you high enough out of that momentary affliction, a situation, and then show you what's possible by you being open and grateful for what you have. If you cannot develop the ability to be grateful for what you already have, there's no room for you to gain anything else or grow. It's so important to start your day with gratitude, because it's going to change how you engage life. This is what I can tell you. I've lived my life, and I am thankful for all the things I've been able to accomplish. I'm thankful for it. But this is what I can tell you. With the experience that I've gained in living my life, the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows, the thing I can tell you is this, is that when you don't have a fixed focus on gratitude, things start to creep in, disrupt, disengage you, move you in different directions. And all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're trying to figure out what's happening, and it's becoming more and more chaotic. and you're losing order, and you're losing the sense of direction, the sense of purpose, and you're becoming frustrated, you're becoming desperate, and you can't gain an understanding, it's because you lost the ability to be thankful for what you have. And now your focus is on what you don't have. And now the more you focus on what you don't have, the more power you give it, the bigger it becomes, the more emphatic it becomes in your life, the more depressing it becomes, the more overwhelming it becomes. You're feeding the power of the negativity because you won't get it out of your head. Instead of getting over here, first of all, being thankful, and then looking at the opportunities and possibilities of what's in front of you. Yes, you have a reality that you have to deal with. And I often tell people when they ask me, how in the world could you be in a situation that you are in here, and yet your behavior be like this, and your state be so uplifting and positive? I don't get it, because when you have an understanding of how your thoughts create your reality, when you have an understanding that your thoughts are the seeds of your destiny, what you tend to do is be more careful about what you think. See, while I'm in this situation, that's a current reality, but I've trained myself to understand what's here now doesn't have to be here tomorrow. What's here now doesn't have to be here the next 10 minutes. What's here now is momentary if I allow it to be momentary. If I make up in my mind that this is not going to be my lot in life. Poverty is not my lot in life. Loneliness is not my lot in life. Failure is not my lot in life. Divorce is not my lot in life. Being single, if I want to be married, is not my lot in life. So no matter how long I'm single, I'm not seeing that as my eternal reality. I am preparing myself for the things I believe for me. So when I went through this 12 years of not really truly being in a committed relationship, and then going from one situation to the next, and there were a couple of interrelated situations, but when I really knew what I wanted, there was this big gap. And I spent that time preparing myself to be the husband I needed to be to my wife. And so I took that as, okay, if I don't have it, it's because I haven't yet become who I need to be in order to receive it. See, when you set a standard of something, see, if I just want to be married, I go out and get married any day of the week. There's always somebody out there that'll be willing to marry you. But if you have a standard about the type of marriage you want, if you have a standard about the type of mate you want, see, success, joy, and happiness is not just in how much money you have. It's about the relationships and the experiences that you're able to forge and create out of your own thinking. And then, yes, you want to be financially stable, financially independent, financially free. All of those things is great. But if you don't have the good relationships that ground you, that support you, you're going to have problems no matter how much money you have. And I can attest to that. This is what I want you to understand. Instead of sit up whining and complaining because I didn't have a wife and that I was going through these long bouts of just, not having somebody that I could sit up and say is in my life with me and we're going to do these things together. And I'm like, okay, every day I'm getting older and, she's still not here. I said, I don't have it because there's something on me that still needs to be worked on. I need to be better. I need to be more understanding. I need to be more patient. Need to learn how to be more supporting. I need to learn how to be a better listener, a better communicator. I'm developing myself so that as I develop myself, I'm increasing the standard by which I operate and also determining who I attract into my life. As I raise my frequency, as I raise my confidence in knowing I'm becoming the man that can demand the type of woman that I have in my mind I want, I'm also raising the frequency of the type of women I attract. I'm removing myself from a pool that cannot produce for me what I want. I'm not judging the pool. I'm just saying it's not what I want. So I'm raising the level of my performance, the level of my state, the level of my being to reach a level in which there are few people that can even receive me or be attracted to what I'm talking about, what I'm doing, and how I'm living. Now I don't have all of this stuff I got to filter through and go, oh my God, which one? It was obvious. Because the connectivity and the resonance that existed between the two of us was obvious because we both were working towards something that cleared out all of the matter that confuses things. And this happens in marriage, it happens in parenting, it happens in finance, it happens in business, it happens in academia, it happens when you're choosing the purpose and passion, when you're discovering yourself, when you raise the standard of how you're going to operate every day, when you raise the standard of what you expect from yourself every day, you lower your tolerance. And when you lower your tolerance, you eliminate everything that falls below the bar. So you got that. So now you got that part. But you also got to have daily goal setting. You've got to have a way of keeping up with your daily goals. See, we set these 90-day goals, these 6-month goals, these 1 year, 4 year, 5 year goals. And they're great. You need to be able to see out that 4 and beyond, because that's the things you're going to look at when things get tough. Well, I'm not, things are tough right now, or things are really disruptive right now. Things are chaotic right now. And if you get lost in the moment, you'll lose yourself. So how do you get out of that? You go beyond and you see where you're going. You look into the future. I tell people all the time when they ask me, how do you do it? Going back to the original, how do you do it? How I do it is I've learned how to operate in now while existing in where I'm going. I'm literally mentally living in what I'm becoming, so that it gives me justification for the struggle, the pain, the disappointment, the delay, the distractions, so that I'm not deterred. And so that is what I'm talking about. You've got to have these goals that come in and allow you to set up and see the future, but you also got to be able to say, okay, in order to get there, I've got to have some little things I do every day that are going to progress me in increments that are not necessarily easily noticeable, but when you look up, they accumulate over time and produce the result. That's how you get to the 90-day goal, by having daily goals. And see, when you have daily goals, it requires discipline, because you want to get up. I'll say, how do you do it? You've got to get up, make a list of things that you're going to get done today. First of all, things that have to get done today, things that you know are extremely important to what you're trying to accomplish. Put a list down. Then you look at this list, and you look at the list, and you sit up and you say, okay, if I were going to be called off to go somewhere and serve or do something for the next month, and I'm going to be gone for an entire month, what's the one thing that I would do before I leave? What's the one thing I need to get done before I'm gone for a month, 2 months, or whatever? That will tell you what thing is most important to the things that matter to you the most. Now, I can't tell you what that'll be, because I don't know where you're trying to go and what you're trying to do. But you look at it and you say that. That's the thing you start on first. I mean, write it down and immediately start on it. Don't put it to the side. Don't say, I'm going to make sure I get to this. No, sit down and say, what am I going to do today that is going to be extremely important to what I'm trying to build? And believe it or not, I'm doing that right now. Why? Because in and of itself today, this video may not be that important, but what it is, it's a part of an accumulation of what I'm doing to build, which goes to my next point. See, it's this daily self-discipline that has allowed me to grow in multitudinous ways. But I'm gonna give you just one example. Several years back, a little bit more than several years back, probably about 6 years ago, I decided, man, I'm gonna hit this YouTube thing. YouTube seems to be taking off, and I'm gonna do this YouTube thing. And I got out there and I did my first video. And I think it got 2 likes and maybe 6 views. And I'm like, okay. And I got out there, and then I got 10 videos in, and I don't think had a total of 100 views. And the only consistent viewer I had was a troll that took it upon themselves to remind me of the fact that my videos suck, that I don't have so-and-so amount of views, and the most views I got on any one video is 10, and blah, 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 blah. And, and so I reminded of it. But see, I had a plan. See, I understood that when you start something, you're not going to be great at it. But you got to keep doing it. You got to keep finding it. Find where you're good at. Find who you're going to reach. Come up with an idea of who your target audience is. Contour your content so that you reach your target audience and you deliver content that's relevant, content that solves problems, content that reaches and impacts them in a way that empowers them. And if you do this, you will eventually build, but you've got to be disciplined every day. Because who wants to wake up and do a video every day in which you look up and somebody's ridiculing you and taking shots at you and you don't see any benefit? There wasn't no money coming in on it from that time, because I didn't have enough people viewing and all of that. Well, I kept going. That channel, I have multiple channels on YouTube now, but that channel right now is pushing close to 1 million views. And when you look at the type of content, we're not talking about the sensationalized content that get all the viral sharing and views and stuff like that because it's funny or it shows somebody getting clowned. Or this is like only people who are serious about changing their lives would even see value in it. And I'm still pushing 1 million views. And this month, well, last month actually, still looking at this month, but last month was the best month ever as far as revenue generation. And like I said, that's because every day I wake up and I do something. I say, okay, what am I doing? What am I building at? And what I know is that this content, because it's not just on YouTube, it's being syndicated by a number of different platforms. But more important than that, I have a personal archive saved that will be left for my family in the case that something happens to me. And that represents so much more in the way of value, monetary possibilities, and so much more. I am always thinking, not just in the moment, but now, because if you think in the now, you start getting caught up on what has to be done and what you need. I need this right now, and you lose sight of the bigger picture, and you lose sight of the focus. But it calls for daily discipline. So, okay, this is something I'm going to do. And then I look at it, and so now we're up well over 1,000 videos from that first 10. We're up over 1,000 videos. And like I said, we moving into the high subscriber range, and we're almost pushing 1 million. And the thing is, it's picking up steam. It's not slowing down or moving slow. It's consistently picking up steam. And that's just one channel. The same thing is happening in the situation with my Instagram channel. And it, like, when you start, it's like, man, this is slow, man. And, you know, and you got these people over here, well, I got 100,000 subscribers, and I've got, and they're like, I got 30,000 followers. And I'm like, well, oh, I got 3. But the thing is, I kept going. I kept going. I kept staying focused. And this is what's required in any area you move in. Go into it understanding that there's this learning curve, this place where you have to develop, you have to grow, you have to be committed. But understand this, anything that you decide to commit yourself to, you decide to commit yourself to it and be the best you can be at it, within a maximum of 3 years, you will become an expert at it. That's what that's what the studies show. If you commit yourself to something and do it consistently over 3 years with an intent of being the best you can be at it, you will become an expert at it. Now, some of us have become expert complainers. Some of us have become expert finger pointers. Others have become expert dream killers. But whatever you're doing consistently with a great deal of emotional engagement for 3 years maximum, you're going to become an expert at it. Now you ask yourself, what do I commit a great deal of my time to doing? Am I lifting people up? Am I working in my passion? Am I working in my purpose? Am I the professional naysayer? You know, do I love to whisper the sweet nothings of negativity into the ears of people who are aspiring to do great things? Or am I the encourager? Am I the one that's looking for solutions to the problems that exist in the world around me? Or am I the one complaining? You are determining what you're becoming an expert at and how you're going to be an influence in this world. Are you a positive influence or are you a negative influence? It's going to be determined by your discipline. What are you disciplined in doing? What do you get up every day and say, this is what I'm going to do? Like I say, that should be some things that aren't ritual. You need to have some variety, but there are certain things you need to ritualize in your life. What you do when you wake up in the morning. Because you got to understand that once you wake up in the morning, you start to flow predominantly on a habitual basis, meaning that everything you do is habitual. You get up, you go to the restroom, you do what you do, you wash your face, you brush your teeth. All that stuff is habitual. It's programmed in. Now you got to say, okay, what do I need to program into my morning routine that will actually lead me to the places I want to go? What am I doing in the first place? You know, one of the first things that my wife does is she gets up and she goes and she prays. Praying settles down. It brings the mind into a low frequency. I know not everybody believes in religion or faith, anything like that. I believe in letting people be where they need to be and teaching them how to use it for the sake of their empowerment. My wife does this, and it's not something she's going to pass up on. It's literally in there, and she goes and finds a quiet place, and she gets in there, and she does what she does. Me, I do the same thing. I do it differently, but I do the same thing. I do it in the form of meditation. What am I doing? I'm quieting myself. And at the same time I'm quieting myself, I'm establishing my expectations. What I am going to do, how I am going to do it, and how committed I am to it, and that I expect everything that I've declared for my life to come true. And I consistently do this. It's the gratitude first, the meditation second. I'm priming myself to go out into this world and deal with what I cannot escape. I cannot escape the vicissitudes of life. I cannot escape challenges. I cannot escape that I'm going to run into the delay. I cannot escape all of the different things that will come in life, but I can determine how I respond to it. I can determine what I'm going to do about it. I can determine that I'm going to maintain personal sovereignty. I can determine that I'm not going to be shaken, torn down, disrupted, or delayed, deterred by something that I will not allow. And so I'm in control because I choose to look inward instead of outward. If I look outward, I can see all the things working against me, and I can sit up and say, it's too much. I can't do it. Oh my God. But if I look inside and I say, you're powerful, beyond measure, you have potential, unlimited. There's nothing that can break you. There's nothing that can stop you. Your destiny, by very definition, says that the more that anyone tries to stop it, they only ensure that it happens. You're built for this, Rick. Get up and make it happen. The mindset, what I declare in the morning, what I establish in the morning allows me to move through my day where I'm never at a point where I'm just totally just, oh my God, what's going on? And there are times when there's a bunch of stuff going on, but no matter how big the problem gets, it's not bigger than my purpose. It's not bigger than my destiny. It's not bigger than the possibilities of me dealing with it. If there's a problem, there's an answer and there's a solution. And my thing is, I will find it. That's the mindset, but it comes with dealing with discipline on it, daily discipline. Look, that's it. I'm going to get off of here now. I hope that some of you were able to grab something from this and take it. Again, if yeah, I got some master classes coming up. If you guys want to check those out, there's some great breaks for the first 100 that enroll in each of those classes. If you want to work with me directly, and you're serious about working with me directly, serious inquiries only, inbox me or email me directly, and we will sit down and we will talk about it, get you set up and get you started. Look forward and love working with you guys. So that's it for today. Daily discipline. Start your day off right. Set the course of your day, and then stick with what you know needs to be done until it's done. With that being said, I'm out here, as I always say, live your life on full so that you die on E. You don't want to leave any of that potential untapped. That would be a tragedy. With that being said, I'm out of here.